So thank you very much. All right. So yeah, thank you very much for being part of my live video. I'm very happy that you have joined me on this live. And I would like, all right. So first of all, before I say anything, I want you to understand this. I want you to like this, tap like, give me a lot of love on the screen and share it with somebody else. Before I would say anything, I want you to understand, first of all, that all of this thing that you are looking at has been born out of debt. That means a bad debt situation is what has given birth to all of this. It means that there was a time in my life that I got indebted, and that debt gave birth to everything that you are looking at today. It was a bad situation. I've spoken about it. I've, on several occasions spoken about it publicly. And my story has inspired a lot of people. Like, I know my story has inspired a lot of people because in all humility, it inspires even me. That means when nobody is watching and I'm alone in my room, I am inspired by the story. Because I was in debt of $100,000 and it was hard for me. I just couldn't imagine how I could come out of this situation. I have a friend who is called Haruna. He was with me in all of the difficulty. A lot of times, even we cannot understand how we came out of this situation. I had so much debt, $100,000 debt, and every single time I would wake up, in fear. I would ask myself, how am I going to come out of this? Right? It was something that was constantly bothering me. And that is what gave birth to my entrepreneurship. Everything that I have done today was born out of that debt. I was a student in the university. I decided to receive money, from other students. I decided to take money from my colleagues, as deposit, and I decided to give it to other students as loans. And it backfired. And that was how I landed myself in $100,000, debt. I needed to have a strategy to be able to pay these people back. So I brought myself together. I was lucky at that time that I had discovered Airbnb. So I put all the people that I was owing in a list. I put all of them in a WhatsApp group. I would pay the smallest amount first. There's a strategy that we call a snowball method. Snowball method of paying debt. I used the snowball method. I paid, the people who didn't have a lot of money, I paid them first until I was done with the entire list. As bad as all of that was, one thing you have to understand is that sometimes a bad situation has to happen to you so that you can get out of the difficult situation. You can get out so that your situation can change. Because if I did not have debt, I wouldn't have been motivated to even work the way I did. So it is important to understand that sometimes it is just not, bad situations just don't happen to you like that. It is something that you have to learn from. And you have two choices. You can either be beaten by a bad situation, or, thank you very much, you can either be beaten by a bad situation or you can take it and you can make something out of it. And, for me, that is the story that has literally changed my life. The fact that I was in debt, trying to figure out what I needed to do to come out of it. So, this is a story that I know has encouraged a lot of people because it encourages me. And I'll advise you that if you are going to do anything, try your best, especially if you do not have any business experience, you have to try your best to avoid debt. Debt is to be avoided if you do not have a business experience. Because after all, debt is a tool. It means that you just don't go into debt anyhow. You go into debt because you know exactly what you want to do with it. It means that you take money. You know that this money that I'm taking it to do this particular business. The money has been used to do something that can be traced. Because what we did was that we gave money to people, and the loans were the only assets that we had. It means if people didn't pay us back, we didn't have anything to sell to pay them back. So you have to understand, when you are taking money to do something, if you are going to go into debt, I still, because of the experience I had, I don't support debt. But if you have to, that you have to understand what you are doing with this money. Right? Brooklyn says, same thing happened to me, and this has changed my life. Yes. Yes. Sometimes bad situations happen to you because you need those bad situations to ride on them to change your life. So, well, it was a bad situation for me. I was sad at that time, but it is that situation that gave me the authority today to speak to you. Without that, I wouldn't have this authority to speak to you, because I speak to you with that authority. Dokia, sorry, I can't see the, thank you very much. So it is that gave me this authority to be able to speak to other people. So you have to understand that everything is a process, right? Things happen to you. Gideon, thank you very much. Things happen to you and you need to learn from them. You don't need to let those things beat you. So that is just what I want to discuss with you today. Yes, Abidin says, experience, they say, makes you stronger. Absolutely. Dr. Selassie, thank you very much. So experience makes you stronger. You have to ride on the difficulties that you have to become stronger. Otherwise, what option do you have? What are the other options that you have? Are you going to allow bad things to push you down, or are you going to let it lift you up? What option do you have? So I don't like to say, I don't like to motivate as such, but I understand that it is important. Sometimes that is what you need. Sometimes you need to take your bad situations as fuel to ride on top, to ride. What do you consider good debt, since it's often hear about it in business? Okay, so in business, what people call good debt is that money that you have taken and you know that it's going to make you more money. Let's say if you are already in a Okada business and you have a lot of Okada, and at the end of the day, you have a lot of people who need more Okada service or more taxi service than the number of cars that you have, then you may go to a bank and you can take money from the bank and tell the bank that, okay, I'm going to take this money to buy more Okadas or more taxis, because you are already in a business and you are responding to the demand of that business. So you are buying the taxi, you are not taking the money to spend. Worst case scenario, you are able to sell the taxis back and pay the bank back. Worst case scenario, right? You have the taxis, you've insured them, against all sorts of risks. So that is what people refer to when they say a good debt. A good debt is a debt that you take with the aim of making you more money. A bad debt will be a debt that you take you borrow money to buy your own private car. That is a bad debt. You borrow money to spend and impress people. That is a bad debt. So as a beginner, especially if you don't have any business experience, I would suggest that you don't do debt at all. Don't go into debt at all. You can use other methods. Let's say if you have a business idea that you want to work on, it will be better for you to go and find somebody who already has money instead of borrowing that money so that you can take the risk, and when the business goes bad, you have to pay these people back. You can pitch it to these investors. The live video is funny. The fact that I have to look at myself and talk at the same time, right? You can pitch it to these investors, ask them that they should invest in the idea that you have. Of course, it's going to be an idea that you have already looked at. Let them understand the risk that is involved, so that if the idea does better, like if it does well, there's going to be some sort of profit sharing. And if the idea doesn't go well, the person understand that it is a risk that they are also taking. Of course, being investors, they are also going to do their background checks to see whether the business has good prospects. So as a beginner, instead of borrowing money to end up the way I ended up, it would be much better to find investors. Teaspoon, thank you very much. It will be much better to find investors so that they invest in this idea. That way, when things go wrong, you don't end up being indebted. That was what happened to me. I borrowed the money from these students. Instead of getting the student to invest in the business, I went and told Big Ann, thank you. I went and told her, it is funny how I appreciate these gifts. It's funny. So, and instead of multi-thanks, instead of investing, even though they distract me a little bit. So instead of asking these people to invest in the business, I instead borrowed money from them to invest. That is a wrong way to go about it. That is the wrong way because you are going to end up indebted. In the end, if the thing goes wrong, you have to pay them back, especially if you don't know what you are doing. That is the one that I'm more afraid of. It's rare for people to start with you at birth stage of a business. Yes, I agree. So you see, one thing you have to understand is that, you see, it's difficult for people to start with you at the birth stage of a business. Everybody is always willing to ride on something that's already gaining traction. The beginning of anything is the most difficult aspect. Every single thing in life, the beginning is always the hardest. As you try and you start going forward, then you can enjoy from some sort of compound effect of your attention. Right? So one thing I have to be plain with you and tell you that anything that you are going to start is going to be hard. The beginning is always going to be the hardest. Maybe 1%, 2%, 5% of you can be lucky that maybe you start something and that thing just catches fire immediately. So the the difficult stage is something that you should be prepared for. So yes, it is going to be hard, but it is something that you can work around. That is why when you have nothing and all that you have is time, then you have to use that time to go around pitching your ideas. Multi-dream ventures, thank you. You have to take that. The gifts are distracting me because I have to read and think at the same time. But thank you nonetheless. So from the onset, you have to pitch a lot of people a lot. That is where you have to use numbers. It means that if you have a good idea and you talk to 100 people, you are going to get 1 or 2 people who are going to be willing to buy into your ideas. So spend a lot of time looking for ideas that you can pitch to others. But more important than all of this is that you have to be a dependable person. Most people say that if you want to become rich, you have to solve rich people problems. Number one problem that rich people have, the number one problem that rich people have is that, number one, by the way, is that rich people have a problem of finding dependable people to work with. Prof, thank you very much. Rich people have a problem of finding dependable people to work with. So you have to start by being, first of all, a dependable person. I have a long story about a situation like that maybe this is going to be too much for this life. But I've had a situation in my life, a point in my life where I needed it the most, where somebody who had in the past left money with me because of his situation, he had left money, he would occasionally come and give money to me. He just keep it with me because, he had a particular situation occasionally. When he needs it, then he can't for it. And there was a time that I needed money. I just called on him. Because he had given me money in the past to keep for him and I gave it back to him. When I called on him and I said, listen, I have something that I want to do. Maybe if you have any money you want to keep, you can leave it with me. They end up, calling me, and that played a very crucial role in my life. So you have to start being a dependable person. Thank you, Dakota, CEO of... Can I join? Yes, you can join. How do I get you to join? So how I don't know how I can get you to join. Anani, thank you. So yeah, if you want to join, I would love to talk to 1 or 2 people. It's fine, but I don't know how to do it. Okay. So how do I turn thank you? How do I turn on the request button? Please share this live if you can. I'm using 60K to buy a car for my best friend to start a boat. Is it a good idea? So one thing is, if you have money, you want to start a bold idea, you want to start bold. One thing that you have to understand is that, listen, if you have enough money to buy a boat to give to somebody, what it means is that you are starting with money. There are 2 types of people in this world: those who have money to start with and those who don't have anything. Now, if you have money, you play a game of safety. If you do not have money, then you can risk anything because you have nothing to lose. If you have money to buy boats for someone, one thing that you have to be thinking about, the biggest thing on your mind should be the safety of your capital. Safety of your capital more than even the amount of money that you are going to make. Because sometimes the mistake a lot of people make is that we put more emphasis on the amount of money that we are going to make from the deal than the risk that we are exposed to. Thank you, teaspoon. Than the risk that we are exposed to. So you have to make sure that if you are going to do bolt, whatever car you are using to do the bolt has to be insured at 100%. It means you have to insure it against theft. You have to insure it against accidents. You have to insure it. It means that you have to remove the price of the insurance from whatever profitability the bolt business has. If the business is still profitable after that, then that is a business that you can do. But if you remove the insurance and the business is still not profitable, it means that it's not a business that you should do. So if you have capital, you have to play the game of security. It means that you have to measure investment in function of how secure your capital is. Because your capital has to be in your life when you are at the age of 60. You understand? So if you want to start a bold business, you can start. But you have to think around security. Please, I want somebody to join. How do I invite people? Let me see. Hold on. Unlock multi-guests. Guys, please, could you help me with an idea of how to activate the multi-guests? I don't know how to do that. So can you please help me with a basic business idea of 10K? You are in 2025. Do not waste your time. After this live video, go right to ChatGPT and you tell ChatGPT, can you please help me with a business idea with a capital of 10K? I live in this city. This is what. ChatGPT is going to see the city that you live in, the demand of whatever product that you need in that city, and give you ideas. You have to use AI right now a lot. AI is going to help you a lot. Someone is showing you, read the comments. Okay, yes. Have I ever gone live? I think this is my live. I've tried it in the past, but this is like it's a business idea. What's that? So I wanted to put a couple of people on. Unfortunately, with this feature, you can invite interviews to join you live. Check out your requirement to see if you can. I want to see if I can invite. And look. Hello guys, can you guys help me please? I want to be able to invite people to join the live. But time, you are always my best mentor. The book say. So I think that I will not be able to get people to join. You have to learn before you start. If not, it will be different story. Okay, Dr. Selasi, thank you for the roses. I don't know, this thing, does it have a lot of money? All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So yes, I wish that I could, bring a couple of people so that we could talk. Unfortunately, I have not been able to figure out how to do it. But Kweku says it be money. Oh. Really? Oh, then that's good. I appreciate it. Officialize. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, I believe that I want to do this more, even though it's uncomfortable having to, a live video, having to, look at myself at the same time, talking at the same time, But I believe that it's something that we can keep doing. Tap the guest, then go setting and permission. Okay, so with regards to the invite, I might have to figure it out, and then maybe some other time I'll do it, because right now I'd love to start laundry marketing, target universities and students in business. Yeah, that's a good, William. That's a good business also. It's a good business also that a lot of people do. Okay. Have to do. Nimate will you marry? That's a question for another this thing. That's the point of it. Thank you very much. Okay. So that is it. So you need, if you're going to start with money, you need to think around security. If you are starting with nothing, in that case you have nothing to lose. You can go all in. You can, get investors to invest with you. Thank you very much, Gilbert. Thank you very much. If I have not mentioned anybody's name who was giving, because the gift I keep, losing. I can't follow it. Thank you very much, everyone. Abdul Ghaffar, thank you very much. Doctor, I want to meet you by the grace of God, maybe when the opportunity presents itself, of course. So, yes. So, yeah. So, in the end, I think I'm going to close with debt. So you have to know when you are flirting with debt, you have to know what you are doing. It was very, 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 very hard period for me when I had a lot of debt. In fact, it was so hard because when you owe people, do you realize that when you owe people a lot of money, you cannot even die? That's what it is. You can't even, because then you cannot, because then you are owing people. It's going to be chaos. So that is how hard it is. I still remember a time, because right now, if you are not owing anybody, it is a situation that you are supposed to be very, very thankful to God for. Because I remember not long ago when all I prayed for was to just come to zero, so that I wasn't owing anybody. And that is why, till today, this is why I feel like I'm the richest man in Africa. I'm the richest man in the world. I feel like I'm the heir to the throne. Because there was a time in my life when all I wanted, was to just come back to zero, so that I wasn't going to be owing anybody. That was all that I prayed for. So even if I had $1 on top of that, that was a situation to be grateful for. So if you are not owing anybody right now, it means that there's still a chance, for you to pick up things and move. Rachel, I'm from Ghana. I'm from northern Ghana. Bright, thank you. You are welcome also, Bright. So yeah, I wanted to actually, have an open conversation. Unfortunately, I have not still been able to figure out how to invite people. Yes, you can use the link in my bio. You can, if you want to reach out, you can use the link in my bio. You can reach out to my manager if you need to discuss anything. We can take it from there. So yes, guys, thank you very much. I'm going to do a lot of this. I'm going to try to do a lot of this because I like the interactiveness of it. So hopefully we will talk, later about this. Thank you very much, AC Benson. What's your biggest challenge? So for me, my biggest challenge was the time that I had the debt, right? Because for me, by the grace of God, when I start things, they always start smoothly. I think it's a grace that I also have that when I start, things, it starts very smoothly. So when I started business, it kicked off because, the students kind of trusted me. So when I wanted money from the students, they gave me the money to do the loans business. So the loans business, but because I didn't have experience in business, that is how I got, in debt. And for me, the difficult situation for me was the time when I was in debt. Even when I started making content, the very first content that I put on this account had like 40,000, views in 24 hours. So by the grace of God, I don't tend to have a lot of challenges in the beginning, which I understand that people have, but by the grace of God, I don't so much. So for me, the most challenging part for me was that time in my life when I had a lot of debt, and that was clearly the most horrible time in my life. And it dawned on me that I was doing a bad business because I was giving money to people, and the collateral that I took was just passports because most of them were students. I took their passport. And how I knew I was in a very, very bad situation was when things started to get better for me, I called these people back and I told them, listen, God has blessed me, right? So some of you can come and take your passports, and as for the money, I forgot. And most of them didn't come. That was the extent. It means that the collateral, even for free, they wouldn't take back their. And even till now, even in my office, I still have passports of people. Perhaps when I go to Morocco one of these days, I'll show it to you guys. So, that was just the most challenging moment for me. So how I overcame the debt challenge was that I found a business, which was the Airbnb business, which I still do till this day. I found it accidentally when I was about to, when I was having a lot of difficulties. And I've told this story extensively. A family member had called me to come back home to have a change of environment. And when I was leaving, I wanted to have my place rented out in my absence. And that was how I discovered the Airbnb business that I still do till this day. So it was that business I started doing, and I found a strategy to pay back my investors. That means I used the Snowball method. I paid the smallest debt first, and I paid the biggest one eventually. And that was how I got out of debt. I put all of my investors, because most of these investors, they knew each other anyway. I put all of them in the same WhatsApp group. So anytime that I would pay someone, I would remove them from the group. And that was how I came out of this debt situation. So guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope to see you again. Some other time we'll do this, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for the gift, and everyone, thank you very, very much, and goodbye.